Also, for reasons, you're going to be in London. Come up with reasons.
I assume I'm headed back to Belgium to speak with my editor.
Yes, of course.
You may notice when I'm speaking English, I may take a few mannerisms or two from Ralph Fiennes' character from the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Very well. Go right ahead, good sir.
You might notice when I'm speaking that I sound exactly like this. I can't help it, it's a fun voice.
I know.
I also choose to assume that her constant success at sanity rolls is because she wasn't wearing her glasses. So in every instance it was like, oh, there's some guy attacking us. Oh, someone's trying to stab me.
Just some bum.
Yeah.
I'm a reporter, I have this happen all the time. Anyway, it has been 2 months after your incidents with the haunting.
You mean the incident with the crazy guy in the basement?
Yes, dear.
Haunting bullshit. There's no haunting. Ghosts don't exist. You're being silly.
Yes,
It
ghosts.
was clearly merely an evil wizard.
So very true. Anyway, you, Mr. Rags to Riches Hobo, what you discovered is that your family's actually friends to a famous professor known as Professor Smith. He's actually going to be part of the Challenger Lecture in London, which is a big meeting of the time. Almost a party, imagine a convention for scientists, inventors, all that stuff. And he's going to be having a big speech there. And of course, because of your connections, they got to be there. Because you're now hip. You two can make up reasons for why you're in London, but you probably should go to this lecture.
Kidding me? Probably still stalking me.
No, I'm a reporter for the Boston Globe. I'm going to the lecture because it's an important thing. The fact that you're there is a deep disappointment to me. I show up to see you, I'm like,
Hey!
not this clown
Let's
again.
hope nothing spooky happens.
We're all on. I'm assuming we're all like taking the same boat or same plane over there. Actually, it will probably be boat, right?
I think it's funny if you just walk all to the entrance at the same time from completely different directions.
Yeah.
It's all your call.
I'm just gonna say I meet either one or both of you on the planer thing, and I hear. Yeah, I could probably stick around on my way over to Belgium.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Yes.
What could go wrong? Come on, you have to say it. It's only darling.
What could possibly go wrong?
There we go.
Anyway, John, here's what you've learned about Professor Smith, and you can happily tell these two. Professor Julius Arthur Smith, doctor, PhD, he's 54, a big, heavy-set Englishman, a scholar who now devotes himself entirely to research. He's famed for his whiskers and great curly mustaches. He kind of looks like a walrus. And he has a disgusting preference for tobaccos, especially a foul, obsidian-hued Balkan Sobrage.
He's Heinemann, isn't he?
What?
He's Heinemann.
He is very James Heinemann.
Dr. Smith.
Except he smokes, I guess.
Dr. Smith has lived and traveled extensively on the continent. His specialties are European languages and archaeology. The professor maintains a townhouse in St. John's Woods, where he resides when in London. At present, it is undergoing renovation to enlarge his library. He wishes you could stay, but because of the reno, he has offered you a hotel. He invites you to the Challenger Trust Banquet-Lecture, a formal affair hosted by the trustees, who select speakers of clear voice, sound mind, and impeccable credentials to report on original researches or inventions of theoretical or practical importance. These evenings are held roughly once a year, although some years see 2 or even 3 such events, while in other years none may occur. The trustees, true to their charter and no doubt chuckling in discussion over cigars and port, encourage idiosyncratic and even amusing studies, but by individuals nonetheless able to convey proofs, either inherently astonishing or startling in implication. In collective effect, the trustees judge nominees by the term amazing. Tonight, the speaker is Dr. Smith himself. His rigorous skepticism and methodical analysis earned him a high reputation as a debunker of mediums, spiritualists, fortune tellers, prophets, holy sites, apparitions, and so on. He has steadfastly refused to give the investigators any hint of his topic for tonight. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
It's fine.
Smith is droll, entertaining. He begins to recount on stage about clever deceits and charlatans and pretenders who fake supernatural events. Smith states that money is usually not the motive for the misrepresentation of impossible powers or events. More usual is the chance for individual notice or recognition of personal qualities, preservation or defense of spiritual beliefs, or social benefit to the community. There proves to be, however, and here his voice turns serious, categories of repetitious phenomenon offering no simple elucidation. I refer to the poltergeist or the traveler who suddenly finds himself dozens or thousands of miles or years from where he stood moments before, and to the haunting. My presentation tonight concerns the last. I say haunting and not ghost or spirit, because alone of such epiphenomena, haunters can be buildings, lanterns, coaches, swords, and so on, as well as men, women, dogs, bears, possessions, even armies. Worldwide, the store of casual anecdote concerning haunters is enormous. And I say epiphenomena because the haunters are not linked with specific observers, and the haunting presumably occurs with or without human witnesses, as we shall see. Thus, perception of such an event is secondary to the event itself. The essential characteristics of haunters are simple. The person or thing must have existed, must have disappeared in some sense, and then must reappear once or many times. The location of the phenomenon may stay the same or may change, but which reappears may be partial and insubstantial, or be as solid and real seeming as any member of tonight's illustrious gathering. No other conditions are needed. Dr. Smith then begins to discuss 3 hauntings in detail: a Breton fishing boat, a Norwegian woman, and a London hansom cab. That's the old-style cabs in cities that were pulled by a horse with a driver. The 3 apparitions do not coalesce from points as most tales describe, but slowly emerge whole from invisible planes, as if passing through what Smith terms the curtains of perception. Each is semi-transparent. He traces the clear passage of a wave through the fishing boat on a series of slides. It does not resist the water. On the other side, the audience sees the second or third photographers through the image of the apparition. Each apparition glows appreciably, as Smith demonstrates by isolating the reflections from nearby objects. The rate at which these 3 apparitions manifested motion was, in comparison to normal movement, slowed by a consistent half in each case. Smith points out a ripple passing across the sail of a fishing boat, and is sped up double, and now the ghostly movement appears normal. The same is done for the film of a ghostly woman, and what seems to be her stalking through the halls is now her walking normally through it. The same is with the horse and the coach. Historically, each of these 3 apparitions have held to have disappeared, not to have been killed or destroyed. Through this observation could not have said true of every apparition. Comparatively, instances of touchable, solid apparitions rarely occur. Sadly, we are unable to offer any evidence about that. Such apparitions seem not to be uniformly preserved. The south of England, he notes, has been settled by man for many thousands of years. Yet the vast majority of hauntings seem to have been produced in the past 5 or 6 centuries. Only a handful survive from Roman times. Smith concludes by observing that in the past 30 years, Science has begun to learn about what cannot be seen or normally sensed, and that some behavior on the atomic level is impossible in the greater world. He has come to think that hauntings offer clues to so far indefinable ways of arriving at one point to another. It is my belief that such hauntings represent clues concerning a natural universe much larger and much stranger than we imagine. The walls of what we perceive as normality have a subtle flexibility. Occasionally, and I greatly hope for understandable reasons, conditions allow interpenetration across these dimensions. The spectral haunting I have discussed represent attempts, perhaps random, perhaps purposeful, certainly unsuccessful ones, to return to this time and space by elements that's been somehow removed. If we are energetic, and not a little lucky in our observations, students of paraphysicality may one day be able to move up and down time, or to travel globally with minor effect, or to perceive that which at present lies completely beyond our senses, whether that which waits beyond is lightness or darkness, or simply different, or evoked by our unstated desires, remains a supreme question, which, for the present, each must answer for himself. I would like you all to roll a spot hidden check.
Can I roll a psychology check to see if he actually believes what he's saying?
Yes, you may.
Super crit fail. 0.
You think it's full of shit.
That's actually appropriate, because Agnes does kind of think he's full of shit.
I got a 10, which is past the 5th point.
It only matters on certain levels.
Alright, so,
44 out of 70 for spots hidden.
yes.
I feel spectacular.
I rolled really well.
Alright.
You notice off in the distance, in the crowd, is a...
Man with a rifle.
No. Derringer, actually. No.
Ah, more period specific.
You observe a dark, mustached man in his late 30s. He seems to stand out from the crowd. His suit looks a little darker than the others. And he seems a little more old-fashioned. After the presentation, he introduces himself to Smith. Just as he comes off stage, they pass a few words amongst themselves, and then this new man walks off. Smith is still there talking with the crowd, who are congratulating him on his speech. You may proceed to talk with him if you want, or go back to your hotel.
Hey, yeah. Great speech. Great speech.
Why, thank you, sir.
Great speech, great speech. Got any whiskey?
Absolutely.
To be honest, I barely understood a word of it, but you seemed to sound like you knew what you're talking about.
Trust me, we have learned folk. We have an error to ourselves, and you know what? I'm trying to bullshit this, and it's not working. I'm sorry. He's trying to talk over you.
Hello, Dr. Smith. Agnes Gertrude Mallory of the Boston Globe. What do you say to your critics who claim that you're nothing but an attention-seeking bastard?
Well, my exact words are, Reginald, you're drunk, go home.
Who's
Nobody
Reginald?
liked your opinion in college, and neither do they now.
May I ask who Reginald is?
Oh, he was just another student, a nobody. A doomed nobody.
When you say doomed, do you mean you're planning to murder him?
Absolutely not!
That's a shame. It would have made an interesting story.
But my speech.
Yes, you certainly have some interesting ideas. I'm gonna roll. What's a lie check in this game? Probably fast talk.
Yeah, I'll say it's faster.
49 out of 73. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I politely pretend like I think in any way that he's not a complete lunatic.
Oh, why, thank you. Hopefully, the next time this meets, I'll have much bigger news to discuss. There's been some things I've been looking into that I
What
can't
sorts of things?
Well, if you'll have...
I like how he was just about to say that I can't discuss, and I cut him off to demand to know who it was. No reporter accepts that answer.
Well, Mr. Doe, as a friend to your family, I'll happily talk to you about it in private, away from this place tomorrow.
Oh, sure. Certainly.
Currently, though, there's too many ears around here, and then they steal my ideas.
Ah, I see.
You know how it is. It's a little cutthroat here.
In Agnes's head, she thinks, yes, paranoid people often believe people are out to get them. Or steal their crazy ideas. Who was that lodge man you were talking with earlier, who talked to you just as soon as you hopped off stage? Is he a friend of yours?
Oh, no, actually. He said he was interested in the field, and hoping that a lot of good could come out of it. I believe he called himself so atrocious with names. He was calling himself a Mr. Met.
Yarlet Hotep?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. Met. I think it was German. He didn't sound German. Maybe Polish. I don't know, I was never a fan of the Poles.
was never a fan of the Poles. They keep getting people elected. It's a terrible joke.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you salvage that particular racist comment. When you say you were never a fan of the Poles and everyone goes, ugh, what? Looks at you weird, that you quickly cover it with that.
I thought it'd be funny to make it a bit racist, considering some
This
of the
lesson in
stuff.
racism brought to you by Call of Cthulhu.
Well, considering some of the stuff Lovecraft has written.
Yeah. He was
I'm sure it was
product
fair for its
of
age.
his era,
Wait,
so to
oh
speak.
crap, I'm turning into Agnes.
You're all now Agnes.
What did he say the guy's name was?
Mr. Met.
Met? M-E-T?
Yes.
Well, you don't know. He said his name, he didn't spell it. Also, the guy didn't
I
remember
didn't know
it.
if I was hearing it correctly.
Anyway, the rest of the event goes by pretty bland. There's a lot of wine and hors d'oeuvres around, but it's all just stuffy people in suits. Babbling about science that none of you can understand.
Hey, it's free food. I may still be rich, but still got habits.
You pocket all the hors d'oeuvres.
I succeeded on an occult check at base. Hot 4 out of hot 5.
What were you trying to do?
Understand the nutso stuff they were talking about? As a joke.
You
more than
completely
anything.
understand his speech.
I still think he's full of shit.
That ain't science.
Should I actually tick that skill off, or does that so not count?
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And please declare your rolls before making them.
Sure.
You're free to make whatever rolls you want.
I literally just rolled the first thing that might apply here.
Well, I'm trying to take the... I'm trying to see if there's a smuggle check.
Conceal.
Conceal.
Yes, roll to conceal the hors d'oeuvres.
I'm trying to find it.
You could try taking one of the bottles of port.
Base 15.
There it is. Success.
You now have a pocket of hors d'oeuvres. Anyway, after the event, nightfall, you pass by a newspaper stand,
Okay.
and you see one that's held up there. And the words, big font, say, "Man dies 3 times in one night. 3 bodies in hotel. Each man carries same identity." Pick it up to read?
Triplets. I'll read it.
Okay.
Probably triplets.
You pick up the newspaper, and here's what it says. 3 slain men were discovered last night in a London hotel, each bearing positive identification as Mr. Mehmet Makrat of 3 Brophy Lane, Islington. Each had been stabbed through the heart. Maids at the Chelsea Arms Hotel discovered the remains. The room also was registered in the name of Mr. Makrat. Bona fide papers identify the trio as one man, the Mr. Makrat, who is a Turkish antique and art dealer doing business in this city. The victims bear superficial resemblances, and each had passed as Mr. Makrat since independently arriving in London 3 days ago.
There's the net part.
Yep.
Is there like a picture?
There is no picture, and there's more to it. The passports of these Turkish nationals record independent, worldwide travels for each man over the past 3 years.
He's an antiquities.
Yes. Inspector Fleming of Scotland Yard is at a loss to describe the meaning of the bizarre mystery, but is eager to converse with any other Mehmet Makrats that are still living. Roll a spot hidden if you're reading the newspaper.
Success.
Success.
There's a second article.
99.
Wow, you get distracted by the crossword? You're stuck on 4-letter word for Bambi's dad.
You finish it, and then you commit Sudoku.
You're a bad person.
Sudoku didn't exist at that time.
You actually notice the second article.
seppuku on it.
That was the joke, yes.
Thank you, dear. That was the pun.
This article in small text, Professor's home burns. Fears for his safety. Professor Julius Arthur Smith, a figure well known in academia, was sought today following the burning of his home under mysterious circumstances. Missing also is Dr. Smith's manservant, one James Beddoes. Witnesses saw a man resembling Beddoes run from the house just before the fire broke out. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Dr. Smith or Beddoes is requested to contact Detective Sergeant Rigby at Scotland Yard's Arson Division.
Okay. The 3 guys who were found dead, do you say they vaguely resembled each other?
Bear superficial resemblances.
Okay.
I'd also like to say it has been several hours now since the talk.
Alright. It's the same one as the guy with the walrus face?
Yes.
That was that guy.
Yeah.
Running from a home moments
His
moments before it got set on fire.
It basically says that since you've last spoken to Dr. Smith, his house burst into flames. He and his manservant are missing. His manservant was seen fleeing the house just before it burst into flames.
And this happened just after the talk?
Yes.
Just after the talk. Okay.
Well, sometime after. Probably enough for him to get home.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mystery, gang.
Let me at him! Let me at him! That was my terrible Scrappy-Doo impression. I'm sorry.
Let me at him! I'll give him a hefty dose of puppy power!
Sorry, that voice causes shudders of revulsion through my body. Servant ran away just before the fire.
At some point, a stray dog starts to follow me around.
That's because you have food in your pocket.
Yeah.
Alright. What newspaper
God,
is this
Ethan,
reported
look
in?
at that like
I'm
Shaggy.
assuming not the Boston Globe, because we don't publish trash like this.
Nah, the scoop.
Sorry. That's such a terrible name for a paper.
Yeah. It's not the most
Please
reputable.
tell me it's the Scunthorpe Scoop.
Nah.
Oh, I want Scunthorpe to get a mention.
It's basically the Inquirer of its times.
Nice.
Anyway, as you are returning to your hotel suite after reading this, you actually find a little letter. Just slid under the door.
Okay, I'm definitely going to read that. After I open the door, go inside, close the door, take off my jacket, put it on the coat hanger.
Take off my pants, because I'm in my private room, so of course I'm not wearing pants.
I'm rich now. I
Maybe
don't
go
need
to-
no pants.
Maybe go to the bathroom.
Pants are for poor people.
And you come back, and you see a letter on the floor.
I'll read the letter.
It is Professor Smith's calling card.
Oh,
And it has an impression in wax. Sorry, it's an envelope with a wax seal on it. Roll an idea.
fail.
You have no ideas.
You don't know what the seal belongs to. But you're able to break it and open it if you want.
Is the seal complicated?
No. Old letters, because they didn't have,
I'm just wondering if I can copy it down.
sure.
Alright.
You won't need to in about 5 minutes.
I was just thinking I might be able to do a library check or something. Look it up. But, alright. Break the seal, look.
Agnes
What
is
messages inside?
gonna head over to the whatever fire station is nearest Dr. Smith's house and try and talk to a couple of the firefighters who are fighting the blaze, because they're usually a bit less close-lipped than the police.
Okay.
Try and chat up a few of those. Hi there, Agnes Gertrude Mallory, Boston Globe, doing a piece about the fire.
Wow, you people were quick. How did you get all the way here from Boston?
Oh, I was here on an unrelated matter.
Ah, okay. Well, you're in luck. This place burned good.
Wow. Coin the firefighter. Man, that place burned beautifully. I don't mind saying I got hard looking at.
Ma'am, I love my job. Oh. Robert, by the way. Robert Smith.
Well,
No relation to the guy who died in here.
Smith is a common name.
Oh, you have no idea. In fact, that's George Smith, that's Jacob Smith, that's Smith Smith.
No relation.
Guess what his middle name is?
That guy there, that's Smith. We're pretty sure he's a serial killer, and that's a fake name. But man, can he work a fire hose.
Oh, he doesn't like his job as much as I do.
Not nearly as much.
So I'm guessing you're here to ask about the place?
Indeed, indeed. Any idea how it started?
We...
I mean, a man who knows as much about fire as you. I'm sure you did a little bit of poking around.
Sadly, the second floor has collapsed into the first, but it does look like it started in the first.
Was anyone hurt?
Well,
And or dead?
that's the thing. Well, the owner of the house, we can't find him. Man, the cops are looking for him. Oh, and his manservant, too. I think his name was Bedouin? Yeah, Bedouin was his name.
Oh, Cthulhu. What can we name this character? Let's just name him after a tribe of people from the desert.
Wait, what?
Bedouin. It's desert nomads.
Oh, I made that up on the spot.
Oh,
His actual name is Bedouin. I was trying to make the character not remember the name.
Ah. Well, apparently the firefighter knows something about nomadic desert tribes.
Whoa, 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 man. What are you playing?
Absolutely nothing?
Good.
I'm not sure what I could be implying.
Anyway, while this is happening,
Yeah.
you open up the letter,
Yeah.
and it's Smith's calling card. Although the address on the back isn't for his house. It's actually for a place in the poorer side of London.
Ah.
Specifically, they call it Cheapside.
It's like East Side.
And on the back of the card, scrolled in quick, messy handwriting, is "Come at once. I haven't long. For God's sake, don't let anyone follow you." With the initials J.A. Smith under it.
Alright. Well then.
It's really hard to write Smith as an initial, but he managed it.
This is going
It's
to...
a single word. In the British tongue, there's actually a single letter that means Smith.
In fact, there's a whole Smith category
It's
in
that
the
common a
dictionary.
name.
I'm going to have to dress the part. I'm going to have to disguise myself as a hobo.
Finally, I get to wear my comfortable pants again.
I wear my comfy clothes.
That leaves nothing to the
I
imagination.
assume this check succeeds automatically.
You do not roll for this.
I feel he should just get to tick disguise for free.
So are you two going to, are you going to tell these two about the card you just got?
I was supposed to not have anyone follow me.
Doesn't say you can't bring anybody with you. Loopholes! That's what you get for being in a hurry while you're writing your terrified note.
No. I'm going to go.
Oh.
And I am also going to make sure that no one follows me.
Okay. Roll spot hidden 3 times.
Also roll sneak to...
If you roll sneak successfully, I will say you only have to roll... That doesn't even make sense. Okay. Just roll sneak.
Alright.
Hot
Major
nine.
success.
As far as you know, you are fine.
Still worth checking.
Yeah, it's probably still worth checking spot hidden. Yeah.
You just see other people on the road.
Nothing else that gives you an excuse to take the skill.
It was already checked.
Oh.
I was checking sneak.
Anyway, you come to a really small, cheap apartment. Really grungy.
Hobo sign.
Has he been out of the game so long that he's not up to date anymore?
No, you see, this is a different region.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a different dialect. Here the top...
It's Cockney sign.
Here the top hat actually means that there's bats in the apartment. Top hat, bat. It's all rhyming slang hobo sign. It's terrible.
You knock on the door.
Yeah.
You knock. There's silence for a moment. And then it's open just a crack. And behind it is a terrified-looking, very short man. You open it up a bit, looks around. Sure no one followed you, right?
Hey, even sneak your way here.
Okay. I'm Beddoes. I'm his manservant. Let's go. He leads you into the bed. It's dark on the end where the bed is, and you can't see the man's face, but there is somebody lying, propped up in bed.
Huh.
You can move closer to try to examine, or keep your distance. as the
I wanted to see if you had a
Professor?
flashlight to be a dick. Just like, oh, come on, man.
professor struggles to sit up, says hello. Oh, Jesus. Coughs up blood. And is what you think is blood.
Think you might want to leave a light in here?
You'll be able to see him if you do move closer.
Sure, I'll move in closer.
Within what is known as arm's reach.
Within what we call is close enough to see that his mustache and beard are gone, as well as his hair and eyebrows, and all of his flesh has been burned, seared.
Well,
What's exposed of his hands and neck are just as burned as his face is.
wait, didn't it say that they saw Smith leaving before?
No,
It was
manservant left before
Oh,
the fire.
just the manservant.
Yeah.
Ah. Alright.
Roll a sand check.
How do you... It's just a D100?
Any bonus because he was kind of expecting that?
How much medical knowledge does your character have?
Probably none. Do you have the medicine skill?
I'm trying to find it.
Alphabetical.
No, but I'll roll it anyways. I do not make it. No, that was for the medicine check. So I just roll this for sanity.
Yeah,
If
current
I go,
sanity.
So if I don't beat it, I don't go more insane.
Depends on the check.
Alright.
Sometimes if you succeed, you still go a little crazy.
3.
You succeed. You're fine. It's shocking to look at that face.
Eh.
But you've never seen a face that burned.
What are you talking about? I'm a hobo.
It looks like he
He's
was
seen a
cooked.
face that burned. There was that time this one guy defied Larry the stabby hobo. He actually just pressed his face to a burning tire fire. It's pretty rough.
He starts to talk. Thank God you've come. Because of my injuries, I cannot bear to talk long. So please listen. The Beddoes will answer questions for me. I have been on the trail of an occult artifact of great malevolence.
Okay.
The Sedevkar Simulacrum.
Dead.
It is a statue, a source of great magical power, evil power. At the end of the 18th century, it was taken apart, and the pieces scattered across Europe. I planned to retrieve the pieces and to destroy it. That's what I was going to talk to you about. Last night, Beddoes and I were attacked in our home by Turkish madmen. I think they too seek the simulacrum, but for foul purposes. We barricaded ourselves indoors, so they tried to burn us alive. But we got away. Barely. I'm afraid to come out of hiding, for these men would stop at nothing. Beddoes has a plan for us to escape, but the less said of that, the better. My notes were destroyed in the fire, unless the Turks have them. They must not be allowed to recover the statue. I ask you, my friend, please, collect it before they reach it. It must be destroyed. Here's what I remember of my researches. Paris was where the statue was dismembered. The owner was a noble, Comte Fenalik, who lost it just prior to the French Revolution. Some part of it may still be in France. Napoleon's soldiers carried a piece in Venice when they invaded that city. It was sold to Alvis de Gramancy. Another fragment made its way to Trieste at the same time. I do not know what became of it, but look up Johann Winkelmann at the museum there. I think there may be a piece in Serbia. Start at the Belgrade Museum. Dr. Milovan Todorovic is the curator. One part was lost near Sofia during the Bulgarian War in 1875. At that time, things of value were hidden from the invaders, so it may be buried somewhere. The final piece was in circulation in Paris just after the Great War and was sold to someone from Milan. I do not know who. It is all I can tell you. You must try to collect it. When you have it, there is only one surefire way to destroy it. And destroy it you must. Take it back to its original home, a place in Constantinople known as the Shunned Mosque. There are niches there in which it once lay, a ritual which will destroy it utterly. is included in a set of documents known as the Devkar Scrolls, but I have been unable to consult them. I'm sorry, my friends. For you, for me, for us all. Please do this for me. Go. Go quickly. God help you. His voice is all but gone. He coughs. Beddoes hands him a glass, from which the man on the bed sips, and then falls back into the pillow, eyes closed.
Is it safe to assume that I had enough time to write notes because you're talking way too fast for me to write?
Yes. There will be notes, don't worry.
I did not write anything down because I'm not there. So,
Okay.
As did I.
Trust me. Find the statue bits at these locations, and the scrolls will help us write.
like I said, I deliberately tried not to pay much attention.
I was actually kind of hoping you'd all be there, but oh well.
Well, then why didn't you invite all of us?
He didn't invite you to.
Why didn't you send us invitations? Crazy man. If you put "come alone" in a note, players will often follow that instruction.
I don't think it said come alone, it says do not
For God's
Yeah.
sake, let no one follow you.
Yeah.
Jesus can't trust no one.
Anyway,
It kind of means the same thing.
Beddoes brings you a small travel case full of 200 new Bank of England £5 notes.
More
Gentlemen.
money for the rich guy.
My master is in mean circumstances, and he needs to evade these men. He wishes to contribute to your success, and desires no accounting. Before this dreadful attack, he had planned to travel via the Simplon Orient Express. The Orient Express offers the finest, fastest, and most reliable rail transport on the continent, and my master is accustomed to comfort, and so shall you.
Yes. Comfort.
You can ask him some questions if you want.
Yes. What exactly is this statue supposed to do?
Sadly, it was my master's research, not mine. It seems like some great evil. Perhaps the scrolls will say.
I would just like to point out my amusement at the fact that he said gentlemen despite there only being one person there. That's what I chuckled at in the middle of your description. I didn't want to interrupt, you know.
Well,
Gentlemen, behold! It's just me here, Barry. Sorry. It's just, I had this whole speech prepared. I was expecting everyone else to show up.
well,
Anyway, so, gentlemen, still just me. Stop interrupting.
I spent all night on my speech.
it sounds like you might need this more than me, so I offer my stash of food.
Beddoes accepts your pocket full of hors d'oeuvres. Confusedly. And a bit worried that
I
he is
like the idea
entrusted.
that they're like not wrapped. It's just like a wad of deviled eggs with like lids stuck to them. Thanks.
Please find the statue.
I'll do my best.
Does he look at the handful of deviled eggs and just go, I've made a huge mistake? Is he rolling a sad check? He fails. And loses 3 sanity.
The fate of the world rested on your hands. Your crusty, unwashed hands.
Hey! I washed them.
I would love it if for the rest of this campaign, he decides to go on the train, but decides he still can't trust us, and we have to just make new characters because he leaves us behind. Agnes survives another horrifying scenario by virtue of not being there. Sorry.
Well, I know some people that have helped me in the past that happen to be nearby.
Such as...
One of them goes by the name of Agnes Gertrude or something.
You can just say Agnes, dude.
Yeah. Well, just bring any friends you need. The more the merrier, just be careful. You don't know who you can trust.
Just be as careful as a regular spider. They're small and hide often, so it's easy to be safe.
Also, they're dead.
Well, much like these deviled eggs.
At this point, certainly. Considering it's been several hours and they've apparently just been in a pocket. I think deviled eggs have, like, mayonnaise or something in them.
They go bad quickly. They taste divine. But yes.
You might want to eat this quickly.
I will save them for tonight.
After all, I'm sure they can't go badder.
Me and my master we're going to need supplies, and this will do for when we go into hiding, of course.
Of course, if you need any other more or less perishable supplies, I will go and run first before I go.
He said less perishable supplies.
Just go.
Okay.
We gave you 1,000 pounds. We have enough money for canned food.
Well, you were in hiding. I didn't think you'd be able to go and get it.
We're apparently fine giving you 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
I like that the hobo just keeps getting richer.
This is going to be a thing.
Don't forget, that's your whole travel expenses.
But he has his own money, though.
Good point.
Yeah, I'm constantly making more money, and since the place is no longer haunted, then I can just, have rent out.
You have several avenues now to go through. You can investigate the murders. You can try checking out the embassy.
You can maybe tell your fellow
Oh,
party
yeah,
members.
Yes, your friends,
And a safe.
about the crazy shit that just happened.
Yes. Yes, I will gather these two.
There's a knock on Agnes's door. She goes over, looks through the peephole, closes the peephole, goes back to bed. Knocks again. She gets up. Fine.
No. You see, knock again, still ignore it, but then you hear a knock at the window on a third-story hotel.
You stole somebody's ladder.
No, he climbed up the fire escape and shimmied along the windows. He's like now clinging to the top of the window going, "Hi, can you let me in?"
He's like holding out my one arm. One immensely beefy hobo
I
arm.
succeed on my climb check.
Yes, you managed to go up to Agnes's hotel window.
You realize if you failed that, you would have fallen and, died.
Yeah. I know.
I mean,
You gonna let me in?
Alright, fine. Open window. Put a towel on the floor for you to walk on. Because I'm sure your boots are covered in mud.
Okay.
So what brings you to the window?
I found Dr. Smith.
Oh, good to hear.
Don't write this down, because, well, basically a bunch of Turkish men went into his home and tried to kill them, trying to steal a priceless artifact, or at least notes about their whereabouts. A statue that's been split into 5 parts.
Interesting.
Yes.
You sure you don't want me to write this down?
Well, it might get stolen.
Well, it sounds to me they already know where it is.
Good point. Right away.
If you want, I won't write that down. Hang on. Let me just quickly telegraph my editor. Hi there. I'm on the trail of a triple homicide, Turkish antiquities theft ring. Don't suppose I can get a line of expense credit on this one.
Oh, don't worry, he's got that covered.
Yes, but we could get more money. If you can write stuff off and foist it on your editor, who's a dick.
Agnes, I don't believe a word you just goddamn said.
Would
You're
I
drunk.
Would I call you at 3 in the morning for something that wasn't important?
Good point. But I thought you hated my guts.
Well, just because I don't like you doesn't mean I don't respect you. Fast talk. On 8.
Oh, thank you. I always kind of thought you were a bit cold. Anyway, how important is this? Like, how big are we talking?
Well, we're looking at least 3 men, probably 4, masquerading as the same Turkish antiquities dealer, 3 of whom were stabbed to death in a London hotel. I can fetch you a police report for that if you like. But
Go right ahead.
But otherwise, the home of the gentleman, Dr. Smith, was set on fire, and his last words to his good friend were that he was assaulted by a group of Turkish nationals who were looking to steal an artifact he was acquiring.
Okay.
I'm not mentioning where the artifact is. I'm not dumb.
I didn't mention where he was.
Yeah.
And apparently she thinks that he's dead, so win-win.
I assumed you told me he was dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume you paraphrased.
Because he
all
was
of the
totally dead.
details.
If he comes back, it's because he's a zombie.
Oh, little do you know.
Oh, I know, it's totally a zombie.
He's a voodoo zombie.
Yep. Anyway, so can I manage to talk this guy into getting me a credit line for this story?
Well,
AKA an excuse to go on this adventure?
really? The Simplon Express? Yeah, that's pricey. Like, can't you do a simpler line?
Not really.
A cheaper line? You sure?
Well, his companion's going on this one. I can't follow him around if I'm not on the same train.
Okay, we'll cover the train tickets. That's it. You gotta cover your own. You gotta cover the rest.
I have to rob a lot of people.
Do you say that over the phone?
No.
So, we still have one person out of the loop.
Yeah, your turn. Where are you staying?
I don't know. Maybe I'm
Same
staying
room in the hotel.
I'm staying
Different
on the
room.
floor.
I should point out, the Orient Express does have, like, third-class carriages and stuff.
Oh yeah, good point.
Like, it's still pricey,
I
but
thought
it's
that
not,
might have been
it's not unreachable.
I'm staying at the.
And I'm certainly being given a third-class ticket.
I'm staying at the room directly below.
You actually saw him climb,
So,
and you're like,
minutes later, you go up to the floor up and knock on the door.
No, I was hoping you would just drop down and say.
But I'm already inside.
The floor collapses. We just end up in your room.
not this song and dance again.
Now I'm falling through a floor again. I hope there are fewer skeletons down here this time.
No, just one. Me.
The mattress falls over this dead guy in it. Every time. It's not even news anymore.
Yes, I've been meaning to talk to the hotel manager about that. It's really quite disturbing.
So I guess you get a knock at your door or something.
Yeah, sure.
So you're actually going
Yes.
to
What is it, darling?
What was it again?
We were doing what now? You can't ask me
The
what
whole-
was it again and not preface that statement with any context.
We're trying to fill him in on the whole thing.
Oh,
And the hobo forgot a bunch.
ah. Our spotty intel makes more sense now. You remember that doctor who was doing the piece, the lecture?
Oh,
Got
yes,
his house
Mr.
set on
Walrus.
fire?
I'm thinking of making a children's book off of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't use his current appearance as a model. Apparently he was badly burned in the fire.
Oh, dear. Is he
may
all right?
He may or may not be dead.
Oh, dear.
Hobo Boy was a bit unclear on that point.
Yeah, sure. That's
Alright, he says dead and I don't believe him. Wait, actually, psychology. 25 out of 60. Haha, I know you're full of crap. Oh, judging by that incredibly hesitant statement, I'm gonna go with not actually dead.
Alright.
Apparently he was tracking down some artifact and a group of Turkish antiquities dealers decided to try and kill him. It
Was it
sounds
the men
insane,
who-
and this is because it is. But it's unfortunately also true.
Alright. Is it...
At least according to Nutbar over here.
This wouldn't happen to be the same Turkish man who died 3 times last night.
I think so.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Because that would seem to be an awfully
If
big
it's not the same group of Turkish men who were murdered 3 times in the same hotel, that's a hell of a coincidence for that to happen in the same day.
There are no coincidences in campaigns.
Yes, there are. There's dozens of them in my game. You guys just keep assuming they're a conspiracy.
You know what? I need to make a game like that, where all the background behind the curtain stuff is all just random shit out and just not tell you.
That's called my campaign.
Alright, well, I'll get dressed. I've been standing completely naked in front of all of you.
Agnes, roll a sand check.
Why do I have to roll a sand check?
He's European.
I'm 36. I've seen a naked man before. 73. I actually fail.
Nah, you all do into this.
Excuse me, darling, I must make
Excuse me, I'm going to put on some pants.
Alright, so we're all good. I phoned my editor. Hello? Hello, monsieur.
I love that we both have to lie to our editors.
Yeah.
I love that we both have editors.
Yeah.
He writes novels and I write newspaper articles.
Oh, did I give my editor a name? No, I didn't.
It's J. Jonah Jameson. You know it's gonna be.
Hello, this is Jameson.
Hello, Monsieur Jameson. I'm calling.
I just have this mental image of like Agnes hanging up, him hanging up the phone, then picking up a different phone with you. He has like 6 phones in front of them. One of them says Boston Globe, one says like Random House Books. He's the editor of everything. He just speaks in a different voice each time.
Yes, I'm wondering. Has our magazine ever used the? Has our magazine ever done an article on the Orient Express?
I think some of our pulpy stuff is set on it, but that's it. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking.
I think
maybe...
he writes novels and then writes magazine articles, like as an actual job.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we've done any on that. Too many people are doing it.
Oh. Yeah. I was.
How about one about the dark underbelly of the Orient Express? Rampant drugs and prostitution. We'll make it up if we have to.
Well, I'm wondering if we might be able to work something out. I have business. I just found out my family has a business in Istanbul.
Not Constantinople.
Well, who can say?
What kind of business?
Well, apparently 3 Turkish gentlemen died from stab wounds, and apparently it's the same man 3 times.
Carrying the same identity.
Carrying the...
Benoit, they all look the same to me. It's just 3 dead people. What's the difference here? What's gonna sell?
Well,
Murder always sells.
Well,
if it bleeds, it leads.
Agnes is just feeding me information, and I'm just
Holding up little
I hold up a card
postcards.
that just says, if it bleeds, it leads.
If it bleeds, it bleeds.
Damn, that needs to be the cover of the next book. I'm gonna make that the cover of one of our books.
Damn, I should make that our motto.
I'm wondering if I should roll for English and French to see if I'm doing the translating right. Because if it bleeds, it leads doesn't really.
Roll French.
Yeah.
You're
92.
You're rolling French or English.
I'm not telling you what you accidentally translated to. But it's going to be the cover of their next book. Good, that's amazing. I have no reason to fact check this whatsoever. I trust you.
My editor's name is Salvatore Pierce. He may or may not be a mafia boss.
Anyway, look, I'll cover your train tickets, but you got to cover hotels and shit. But I want a story. And if there's a dark, seedy underbelly, I want to hear all about it. Okay?
I want to
Yes.
see photos.
And I want samples.
Yes. Should I collect the? Should I take pictures of the spiders?
Blood, sweat, tears, or drugs, or all of the above.
Yes, all the above. And the liquor, too. And better bring me back a brandy.
Yes.
Good
You're
stuff.
fired. He hangs up.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Monsieur Johnson.
You say that to the dead folk now.
You know, you continue to carry on a conversation as though you're having a conversation with someone who respects you a great deal more.
Yes, it's really
Inside, you cry.
Roll over your self-esteem.
Would that be sanity?
No, self-esteem. Just roll.
94. I apparently be doing really badly with this die. All right. I assume we're going on the train now.
Well, the start of the train line is actually in Paris itself, but there is a ferry and then a train you can take that'll take you.
I'm actually going to, before we leave, I am going to try and investigate the murders.
Yes.
You are free to investigate the murders.
Importance. Alright, Agnes is going to take a trip to the old police station.
All right.
Is there a guy behind the desk?
You actually, there's an officer beside the desk, and it's actually Inspector Fleming himself of Scotland Yard. The man who was there at the scene. What are you lot doing here?
Hello, darling. I'm looking for 2 inspectors. They look alike.
Did I
Mr.
bring all of them with me? They followed me. Curses.
Yes, I'm looking for 2 detectives. They may look alike. Mr. Thompson with an S, and a Thompson as in with an S as in Smith, and a Thompson without an S as in Venezuela.
I'm not helping.
Oh, that describes that way.
Come on, roll fast talk. Try to confuse him into helping you.
I'll give you a bonus to fast talk because of what you just said to him.
What was just said?
Because he's still flipping through
A
papers.
number of baffling things.
86, I fail miserably.
Aww.
I forgot, I'm stopped using this die. Alrighty.
Agnes, this is your specialty.
Hello, Inspector Fleming, was it?
Yes.
Agnes Gertrude Mallory, Boston Globe, doing a piece on the horrible murders.
She's a reporter. What do you
Well,
want to
it's-
know?
well, it's
I
a
can't
bo-
tell you much.
Well, it's a Boston paper, you see. It's only published stateside. It's not like you get in trouble when it's published in it.
God, there's a lot of towns here. Damn it.
Oh, I wouldn't worry
Want me to get a
about
list
it.
going?
Probably.
Well, they're partners.
What can you tell me about it?
Roll fast talk.
Sure. Not persuaded?
Your call. Persuade or fast talk.
This feels more like persuading. Like I'm not trying to trick him. On 8. Success.
Well, you're a foreigner.
Dirty, ignorant foreigner. Notebook called me a dirty, ignorant foreigner. No.
And he's like, well, it's weird, because they're all the same man. Well, we already know this man lives on 3 Brothel Lane in Islington. You can easily find the address on a map in your book. You can try to get more info out of him if you want.
How do you know they were all the same man? You say they were the same man. You mean they just had the same identity cards?
Well,
I mean, surely they weren't actually the same person.
I doubt it. I mean, they were...
Clearly we're looking at imposters here.
Did they look exactly the same, or just had similar features?
Well, that's actually the part that's hard to tell. There's a detail that we didn't let out, and wait until you put that detail in.
Oh, sure thing. I have to do a whole piece, taking a trip on the Orient Express, doing a whole shebang thing. Probably be a month or so before a piece is done.
Each corpse had been partially skinned. One the torso, one the arms, and the last one was the legs. They all had the same clothes. Their faces looked kind of the same. But at the same time, it could just be dudes who kind of looked the same. We had also found something else. Each of them had a telegram that said, "Meet me in London at once. Urgent."
What language was it? Telegram.
It was in English, right?
Yes. And it was sent from Paris. They were signed with a single initial, M.
Interesting. Any idea on why the skinning was done?
No, it just must have been just sick people. I can't tell if it's some kind of sign or if it was just some kind of revenge. I heard those Turks were messed up people.
Now, this is going to sound like a somewhat lurid question, but when you say there was skinning that took place on torso, arms, legs, was it the entire torso, the entire arm, or just patches?
Check some papers. Yeah. Clean cut. Like skinning a fawn.
I offer my king. Want a drink?
Absolutely.
I pop up.
Well, I am on duty, so yes. Because it's the 1920s.
Yes.
Actually, no. Oh, no, because it's London. They don't have prohibition. So
Yeah.
They can drink all they want.
So, this drop cane
They probably do it out of spite for all the Americans they see. Oh, look what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. So, take that. Look what I can do at work.
I have put under preferred speakeasies. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Was the skinning look like it was done by someone who knew what they were doing, or crew?
Whoever it was knew what they were doing. Maybe some kind of hunting background. I've heard things about Turkish hitmen. Terrible things.
I've heard things about Turkish prisons that are far worse.
I've heard them too.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fleming gets a call and has to excuse himself and leave.
You hear his side of the conversation, or does he go into a room?
He goes into another room after a phone rings.
Alright. I'll just go in my pocket, get a flask of whiskey, top off my cane.
Now tell me, darling, doesn't it seem odd that there's a police public call box right outside the police station?
Make a sand check for that reference.
I fail. Fortunately, Yithians have infinity sand.
Just remember, if you see another version of you, don't take any of his advice, no matter how desperate he sounds. Especially if he tells you that the continuum is important.
So, you got any other business here?
I would like to go to the Turkish man's house.
You have the address of his shop. Yep.
Is there, like, any sign of someone being home? Lights on, stuff like that.
No. There's a small closed sign on this two-story shop. It's a very small shop.
Oh, he, like, lives over the shop.
Yeah. It is locked, though.
What?
The store is closed and locked. You can try to get in, but, you know, that'll be a B&E.
Yeah, and I'm assuming there's
Does
probably...
the closed sign list a reason? Like, does it say, like, closed for repair or closed
No, it's one of those
indefinitely?
old school flip closed.
Oh, so it's, like, closed because it's not the right hours.
Yeah.
Are there hours posted?
No.
Okay.
What time of the day?
How common are cars in the 1920s? Like, I'm trying to debate if a car's presence or absence would be just an indicator of whether someone's there. Probably not.
I'll just tell you that from looking at it, it looks like nobody's there.
Yeah, because, I mean, they still have those horse-drawn cabs, so probably not.
I mean, you could try talking to his neighbors or anybody in the vicinity of the store.
Let's start with talking to the neighbors before we go all full-on break into someone's house here. On a mild hunch.
You knock at the closest door, and an old grandma shows up. Oh, just making a call.
Hi there. Hi there, dear. Agnes Gertrude Mallory of the Boston Globe. I assume she's hard of hearing. Is she not?
What?
It would be great if she just said, I can hear fine, jackass.
Oh, I read that all the time. Oh.
That's surprising.
My husband, before he died, he was a big fan. I still haven't sent any. I didn't have the heart to end the subscription.
Also, I tried to end it at one point, and it was an absolute nightmare. Like, you have to go there in person, and it's in the States.
Yeah.
And they're only open for an hour on Wednesday.
Wait, did you actually try to go there?
Well, of course.
Terrible. I did it as part of my vacation.
Hi there. I had a few questions about that shop next door.
Oh, yes. Mr. Macrat. All right. He's a lovely old coot. He doesn't get out that much. But you know what? He's not mean.
Do you know where he is at the moment? He doesn't seem to be in.
He closed up his shop about a day or two ago, and I haven't seen him since. But then again, there's been like a few days, weeks at a time, where I just don't see him. Although he's got some wonderful antiques in there.
Did you do any business with? Have any business with?
Oh, I once bought a vase. It was beautiful. I think it was somewhere from the Orient. China? Maybe?
Sorry, what's this China?
Oh, it's like Balik. It's a thing to make pottery.
Oh, okay.
It's a country in Asia.
I heard it's a rather small one too, full of opium.
Oh, so he's still in black.
Yes, China is legendarily a small country. I think she's confusing it with just Hong Kong.
Actually, they didn't have.
Is something wrong with Mr. Macrat?
Oh, nothing. I don't know if you read many of the local papers at all.
Well, no.
Allegedly, someone was using his identity and they were killed in a hotel. I was curious to talk to him.
Well, I don't see why the kids would steal his ID. I mean, I could see if, like, he was old enough to drink or get into bars or something. But the man was 80. Why would anybody even try to pass as him?
Pardon?
Why would anybody try to pass as him? That strikes me as odd.
Wait,
This
is
like
there a
the men who
minimum
were
age
dead were like
for
Oh,
drinking
you
at
asked
this time? Because
they were around, like,
in Europe,
young
they
30s,
kids
like
drink
20s.
wine all the time. Is there a minimum legal age in Europe at this time? Because
Hell if I knew.
for what?
well, you mentioned stealing his ID for drinking.
Drinking. If you're accompanied by an adult, the youngest you can drink is 5. If an adult buys the drink for you, I think.
Yeah.
That's actually modern Britain, though. So.
Yeah, I don't think there were any rules about that.
No,
No.
not really.
Yeah.
There's basically just rules about buying alcohol. I think their assumption is if your dad wants to buy you a beer when you're 10, whatever.
Yeah.
You kill your son all you want more.
Yeah. I remember like back before Victorian age, it was actually better than water to drink beer
Yeah.
because
Because it actually had alcohol to kill the bacteria and stuff in it. Everyone was just drunk all the time.
anyways, enough of that tangent.
Yep.
Alright, so not been home for a few days recently. The place doesn't look like as if it was broken into.
Well, we haven't checked that.
Yeah, does the place look like as if it was broken into?
No. Although I have a hunch that by the end of the night, you guys will break through it.
Come on now. This isn't a Hunter the Vigil game. We don't break into every house we encounter.
Wait. I'm going to look under. I'm going to go near the door of this place, and I'm going to check underneath the mat.
Roll luck.
I'm gonna look at a window.
Oh, success! 52 out of 60.
You find an unlocked window. You find a key.
Neat. I was actually just gonna look in the window to see what the state of the shop inside is.
It looks like an old school antiquity shop with a whole bunch of things that either look pretty expensive and junk. And you can't tell which one fits into which category.
Basically, I'm trying to see if there's any statue parts that happen to be in here. It'd be a waste of a trip.
There is the main shop front, the window, and the door, and rows upon rows of crap. There's a counter, and then there's a door to a back storeroom.
Knowing things, it'd probably be in the back if it was here.
There's no signs though that like the place was tossed or searched or anything like that. Stuff like missing out of place, weird, like anything broken.
No. The storefront has a general messiness with different antiques and furniture and lamps and stuff everywhere.
Get the sense that that's probably the way it always looks
Yeah.
though. But
Nothing's case so far.
I'm gonna look in the back and see if it's the same story.
I don't know if there's a window into the back room. Check.
Yes, there is. There's also a staircase going up and a back door that's also locked.
Window to the back room, peeking in there.
When we get in, I'm gonna lock the door.
Are we going in?
No, we're already inside the store.
No. I'm very pointedly not breaking into the building.
Ah, okay.
I'm looking through windows.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm doing things that aren't illegal. I realize the concept may be unfamiliar to you.
There are windows on the second floor, but you can't see through them from your
I'm not climbing up. Hey, Spider-Man. I think climbing someone's house is illegal.
Most likely.
Is there a window to the back room?
Yes, there's a window to the storeroom.
I'll look in there.
You find a whole bunch of boxes and crates and some books on a shelf that look like ledgers. There was a staircase going up. Roll an int check.
How does that work?
Is it an idea check, you mean? Or is it int times something?
Int times 4.
Okay, I got on 6, so I impaled it.
8. Okay,
I got a 93. I am sucking at this one.
You don't see anything on the first floor that looks like he didn't move away. Like anything that would look like a case or carrying things with luggage is not there.
Oh, sorry, I don't follow. Nothing on the fourth floor suggests that. What?
You see nothing that suggests he was kidnapped or some struggle or anything like that.
Okay.
This backroom has a window. Do I see any weird statue parts?
You see several little statuettes, a few porcelain dolls, but that's it.
Okay. I looked in there, it was like boxes and ledgers and stuff. Apparently the stuff in the back room is shockingly kept in packed crates. What a surprise. Alright. Groupthink, are we actually going to break in here to look at his upper floor?
Well, it wouldn't be breaking if we just unlocked it now, would it?
Nothing gets broken.
Please tell me we're not actually using this logic. Alright, I've broken down the door, but as long as I don't actually walk inside and really lean in the door, it's not really entering.
But I have a key. Nothing gets broken.
Having a key just means when the police show up, you can go, no, he said I could be here. Look, he gave me a key. And have a passable chance in hell of pulling it off.
I love that this is the stumbling block.
What, whether or not to commit a crime?
Yeah. If this was like D&D, it'd be like, no, we smashed through.
If it was with D&D, we'd have already kicked the door down, killed everyone inside, and stolen half the thing. If this was Hunter the Vigil, we would have just barricaded the doors and set it on fire as a precaution.
Alright, so these scared clowns are busy figuring out whether or not to do this. I'm just going to go upstairs, put the key in the lock, and try to unlock the door.
The stairs are inside.
Oh.
Yeah.
But back door, then?
There's a back door that leads to a back room which has stairs in it.
Yeah.
He's breaking in.
Okay, you're breaking in.
I am leaving. I'm gonna walk over to the road and keep a lookout. Light up a smoke, act like I'm just casually smoking.
Under the counter, behind it, out of view, you see a large ledger. It looks well used and it has been used for a long time, but still in service.
Is fingerprinting a thing nowadays?
Yes, but
But barely.
not even barely, really. Sherlock Holmes knew about fingerprints. There's not like a database of them, though.
Okay.
It's like, oh, we arrested this guy. We'll fingerprint him here and compare it to what we found at the scene. It's like a very case-by-case kind of thing.
Well, I've never been arrested here, so...
You're free to write it down there.
Yeah, I'm going to open the book.
Okay. This account book covers all the purchases and both from customers and Macrat himself. You'll notice that there are imported goods that came from Turkey and the Middle East, or as well as things bought from London auction houses. Roll accounting.
So, roll real good.
No.
Can I roll?
Are you going in there?
Yes. I am following him.
Okay. You look over his shoulder at the accounting page.
Nope.
You don't see anything.
If only we had an accountant with us. The most important member of any adventuring party, the accountant.
I'm not breaking in there just so I can roll my 10% chance at accounting.
I'm bringing it up to you.
Now we're just committing blatant theft. In broad daylight, no less.
Is it broad daylight?
I think it is. I knocked on a neighbor's
The
door and
granny's
she
looking out the
answered.
window at you guys.
Does she have a phone? She has a phone, I'm leaving.
I'm not going to bring it outside if it's broad daylight.
Hang on, the hobo needs to consult his tablet.
You're free to just schedule that train trip away to Paris.
I'm gonna look in a random box first and then leave. After I put everything back in.
Are you gonna look upstairs?
I shall look for someone else.
Love the entire point of breaking it at all, and he's not gonna do.
Oh wait, the stairs. Yeah, of course I'm gonna look at the stairs.
You find a small kitchen, bathroom, a living room office, and a bedroom. They all look lived in. He's obviously been living here. You do notice a distinct lack of any kind of travel cases, as well as small little amenities that you would take with you on town.
So, apparently this fellow skipped town.
Roll spot.
Ah, something I'm good at. Wow, no.
You don't see anything.
Alright.
Looks like your investigation's at a dead end.
You're in there too.
Oh yeah. I succeed.
You see a little
Head.
Yeah.
You see a little corner of paper
Why couldn't you roll
jutting
that on
out
your accounting check?
from just under the desk.
Yeah.
You pull it out, and this looks like it's a part of that old ledger you were just looking at.
All right.
It wasn't ripped out, but it looks like it was such a worn page that kind of fell out on its own, and he didn't notice it fall.
All right.
And you see the lists. It's all like $5, $10, $20, $50. But then you see a purchase of $1, in which he bought a Riston Special Commission train set, purchased from the estate of Randolph Alexis some months before.
$1.
Yeah. It was then, and then the last item on the page was a one Wrightston Special Commission's train set delivered to a Mr. Henry Stanley, Stoke Newton, for £1. Though Macra's records are extensive, there are no other toys or train items on that set.
Estate of who? Whose estate was it bought by?
Oh, right. It was bought from the estate of Randolph Alexis and then sold to a Mr. Henry Stanley.
All right.
Train set.
Yes. Roll no.
Yes.
That's actually a common brand of electric train sets of that time. So, about this size table. Turn a little switch and it goes round and round.
All right. Well, I think that's as much as we can find in here, my good transient friend. I think it's time we make quick tracks.
Cheese it.
Well, discreetly cheese it.
We'll just put the paper
Brie it, if you will. I want more subtle cheesing of it.
Yes.
More of a brie than a gorgonzola.
Alright. We'll get out of here, lock the door.
Make sure we leave everything the way we.
Steal everything that isn't nailed down.
You have antique lamp in your inventory.
No, I wouldn't be able to conceal that. Oh well. What about you?
I have a top hat.
Yes, you brought that in with you. I was wondering if you took anything from the store.
I think he's planning to hide something under his hat. I think Agnes is just leaving at this point.
Alright, there's a detail I forgot to mention at the beginning of the session.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, to backtrack a bit, because this is something you should have already seen and noticed by now. Back when you dealt with the old wizard, you had encountered a journal on him and another book that looked like a tome. This is an excerpt from his journal.
Again, my research has left me with nothing. Written in blue ink. The rest is written in black ink. For 20 long years, this tome has remained a complete mystery. The pages are blank, all of them, and no ink will stay on the pages. But there is power here. I know it. I feel it. Some secret hides inside that is just beyond my grasp. I must know its secrets. Who wrote it? Why is it blank? What is it hiding? Why is it mocking me? It sits there watching, laughing even now. I will know your secrets. Even if I must tear you page by page. I am undying. The clock ticks and you will lose, for I am eternal. Stop laughing! Stop laughing! I must continue my research.
Cool. This is the other book.
You must have had a lot of fun with that.
You find nothing else in the book.
You know that the
I
hobo
don't believe
guy?
you. Ooh. How much is that? Might be a constellation.
Ah.
Looks like he eventually got pages to retain some ink.
That or the book wrote it itself.
Maybe there will be more stuff inside it as the campaign goes along.
Who knows?
Alright, I'm gonna keep this on my person.
Alright. Mark old Tom in inventory. Anyway, back on track.
Could I roll any kind of astronomy check to try and hazard a guess at the weird pattern of
Just a guess you wish.
Astronomy at base. No way in hell.
Oh my god! Check! Give that a check!
One.
The greatest roll of the night on the most useless of checks. You know immediately what that is. That is Orion, the hunter.
Cool.
And yet there are parts of it that don't make sense. Yes, it is the constellation. But there are some stars in the diagram that aren't the stars we attach to that constellation, although are still there in the sky. So why they're given importance is unknown, but chilling. And you, John Doe, the book's cold to the touch.
Just me, or is this book cold?
I touched the book.
Ice.
It's just you. Success on a fast talk.
Yes, it looks very cold. I think you may
Please, as like he's showing it to you, I go like mouthing behind you.
I give you a bizarre look. What is everything all right down?
I look behind
Oh, nothing at all. Everything's fine here. When you say it's cold, I'm like, oh, you're no fun at all.
Huh. I know exactly what to do
Yeah,
with
it's
this.
cold.
I'll wrap it in something waterproof and store it in a cooler with my liquor.
Okay.
Keep my drinks cold.
Sure.
That's like D&D logic, right?
Alright. You now have several options.
How many of the stars in the constellation aren't normally used as Orion?
Two in particular. Several options. You can try to investigate the train set. You can try to investigate more about the Sedevkar simulacrum. There may be something in a library. Some kind of research may unlock some kind of information. Or you can start your trip.
I'm gonna look in the library. No.
I assist you in the library search.
I do not succeed at library.
I do.
You don't find any specific reference to the Sedevkar simulacrum itself about what it is. But you do find information to deduce that more information would be in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris.
Alright.
You can try another library use if you want to look up the Sedevkar scrolls.
Okay, so it's the Paris National Library.
Nope.
No. It's up to you.
Oh, sorry. What am I rolling?
Library check for scrolls.
I succeed. I succeed.
Okay. You find information that they're in the Topkapi Museum in Constantinople.
Okay.
Well, that's their last known location, just before the Great War.
Okay, so it's the Istanbul. Sorry, what was that again?
Not Constantinople. This research, however, takes you about 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
And on the third day, in one of the little rooms of the library, you see a sleeping man. Hunched over desk, raincoat and hat. It had been raining that day.
Does he look like a hobo?
You can't see his face.
Would I mistake him for that guy?
John Doe. Did John Doe ever have a raincoat?
Well, if it's raining, I'd have a raincoat.
Okay, maybe you think it's him.
Hey, John, are you alright? I know it's been a long time, but...
The man doesn't react to your touching, but his body does slide over the side of the desk, falls down, revealing that all he was wearing was a raincoat and a hat, and that he has been skinned from head to toe. Roll a sand check.
I succeed.
Okay.
I don't know why I succeeded, but I succeed.
Oh my god, John is dead.
Oh my god, I killed him! I killed John!
You see, stapled to the chest is a strip of leather, and on it are the words carved into it. The skinless one will not be denied.
I call the police.
Reasonable reaction.
The investigator who dealt with the triple murder is the one who leads the investigation. He shows up, and he actually pulls out a picture from a file folder. He's comparing it to the face of the corpse. This was Mr. Beddoes. This was Mr. Smith's manservant.
Oh my god.
That sucked.
I thought he smelled of deviled egg, but that's why I thought it was John.
Yes.
Full circle.
Later that day, the coroner confirms that yes, it is in fact James Beddoes.
Well then.
Was there anything on the table?
Oh, so, I'm not entirely sure if we should go and, away from the police officer. Wait till that's done.
The only other thing I can think we might do is, did Mr. Beddoes have a house of his own, or did he live in Smith's house?
No, he was a live-in manservant.
I can't personally think of anything else we might need to do.
Well, we can check to see if Mr. Smith is alive.
Head back to where they were hiding.
Yeah.
Okay.
You let us come with you?
No.
I'd follow you anyway.
A man opens up. Hello? You don't know who this is.
You managed to follow me. Yep. Sorry, I was kind of expecting someone else.
We just moved in.
Oh, really? May I come in?
I didn't know you have a family here.
It's just someone that very, very close to me was staying here just a couple of days ago.
Really? We just moved in like yesterday. We bought the place. It was up for sale. I'm sorry, but your friend here isn't here anymore.
Oh, thank you.
Psychology. 47 success.
He seems in an unhappy marriage.
Oh. He doesn't seem like he's trying to cover for something. Doesn't seem like he's hiding a bloody knife behind his back.
You can tell that he's trying to be polite about the stink coming from John Doe.
I think he'd be able to afford to shower at this point.
Yes, that's why there's a stink. There's too much cologne.
4 times a year, whether he needs it or not.
You now have 6 bottles of cologne you can use daily.
Yes,
More expensive here, right?
They were only $1 each.
Glorious.
So this is what being rich feels like.
It feels slimy. And I'm choking. I think that's everything we want to do.
Yeah, going on the train.
Time to hit up the Orient Express then. Okay.
Naturally, these two are in third class.
I will say this thing. You have not investigated more of the train set. However, that is an option.
We're doing it.
Oh, alright.
No, we're doing it. Alright. Let's investigate us the estate of Randolph Alexis.
Okay.
I will
As
mention
you
the
make
only
your way-
reason. I will mention the only reason we're doing this investigation is because I agreed to break in.
Yep.
As you make your way to the estate, you actually pass by a newspaper stand with a big article that says, "Man disappears in cloud of smoke. Spontaneous human combustion? Linked to triple murder cases?" Question mark.
I pick it up and take a look.
Okay. Police are today investigating the disappearance of Mr. Henry Stanley, 41 of Stoke Newington, who was reported missing last night by his landlady, Miss Constance Atkins. She alleges that she heard a cry from Mr. Stanley's upstairs room at 8 o'clock. He did not answer to her knocking, and when she opened the door, the room was full of smoke. There was no sign of him. Mr. Stanley is not married. He is a noted train enthusiast and member of the London Train Spotters Association. His disappearance may be a case of spontaneous human combustion. Police have refused to comment on this. Similar cases have been reported in England earlier this century. The most recent known was that of Mr. J. Temple Thurston, who burned to death in his home in Dartford, Kent in 1919. It has been revealed that a model train set found on the scene had been purchased last week from the shop of Mehmet Makrat. That child's toy may have caused the fire. Readers may recall that 3 bodies, all identified as Mr. Macrat, were found earlier this week in a Chelsea hotel room. Police have not ruled out the possibility of a link between the 2 cases.
Interesting.
Also, how many of you have skills in the occult?
I do not.
I got a 40.
It's natural count.
So it just goes
0,
black and then it goes like
5%.
black again in the field.
Make the roll to see if something comes to memory. Make the occult roll.
Can we roll or no?
I'll let you roll.
Oh, I crit.
Make a check.
Nope.
You actually immediately recognize the name of Randolph Alexis, who Mechmed bought the train off of.
Yep.
He was an occultist of much notoriety, with links to both the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and to the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. He shared this interest with his son, Albert Alexis, who dabbled in the dark arts. If you wish, you can research him with a library useful.
He looks
All right,
like a farmer.
Actually, no. Because you crit,
Yeah.
I'm saying you know this shit.
Yeah.
You know that both father and son both met unfortunate ends. Alexis Sr. died in a train derailment while traveling to Liverpool in 1897, while Alexis Jr. disappeared from his home in 1917, believed murdered by person or persons unknown. A few drops of dried blood were found, and the smoke-filled room suggests that the assassins had tried to burn the house in order to conceal their crimes.
Alrighty.
If you want, you can easily find the address to Mr. Henry Stanley, the man who recently disappeared in a cloud of smoke.
Alrighty.
You get to the location, and you see a sign that says "Room to Let."
Okay.
Basically, an open. And another sign to it that says "See the Death Room, 5 pence."
Well, that was...
Yeah, it's 1920s London, all right.
Okay.
You could talk to the landlady, Miss Constance Atkins.
Sure. Hi there, Agnes Gertrude Mallory, Boston Globe. What can you tell me about what went on here?
She walks out in a housecoat, slippers, curlers. Ever so strange it was. Quite tight. They're all a bit, you know. My husband was just like that. Oh, and here's a photo of Mr. Stanley. I keep pictures of all my lodgers.
Not gonna ask why.
He came home at about 6 o'clock, about time for tea. He was excited because he purchased a new train set. Imagine a man of his age, a train set.
Nothing else.
He went upstairs at 7. I didn't see him again. He could not have left the house without walking through the sitting room. I would have seen him.
Is there a back door?
No, there isn't. So I was reading my issue of Silver Screen Stars. A bit later, I heard him cry out, and a sort of rumble happened. I came up straight away and knocked on the door. He was gone. The room was full of smoke. The window was closed and bolted from the inside, too. So, couldn't have been kidnapped or something.
What does he tell?
Train set still there.
What?
Train set. Is it there?
Yeah, the police inspected it for possible electrical faults. I don't know, maybe they found something or not. The track was passed on to an expert in the train association. I'm sure he's like a Spot Trainers Association.
Train Spotters Association?
Yes, that. Butter, Arthur Butter.
The best looking books.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like, he's no wisdom, so he's just...
Also, everyone in the room, roll Spot Hidden.
Success.
Success.
Failure.
There's 2 lines, lines across the carpet in the bedroom that go from one side, and they're evenly spaced. And
He's confused with that one. He might come back later.
Are they about the same distance apart as a rail gauge?
yes,
Nice.
that was supposed to be a check, but because you
You
called
got
it,
hit by a ghost train. That's awesome.
Wouldn't look good in his...
Sorry, the size of a what?
Gauge the distance between the rail tracks.
Okay.
And on that information, we will pause.
Should we
check to see if our skills go up?
Yes, in fact, I'll give you all one free check. Pick a skill and give it a check.
Ah, see if you succeed.
It is the house rule I read online that I enjoy. I liked it.
My astronomy skill is now 10. I rolled a 9 on the increase.
That was an amazing roll. So what did you all pick for your bonus checks?
I
picked
picked
astronomy.
dodge. I failed.
Good move.
Yeah.
I picked accounting.
Yep. Call of Cthulhu ones. There's a lot of front-ended stuff in them.
Yeah.
And if you skip them, it usually screws you over really badly.
Any purchases or modifications to your character since then?
I no longer have a hammer or a shovel.
That will be the doom of you.
I do have a knife now. Because why not?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of changes to this.
That girl's got to take care of herself.
It's a Bowie knife.
Where the hell are you hiding a Bowie knife?
In a purse. Along with the brick.
I'm just imagining you swinging a purse. It tears open and the Bowie knife goes flying.
Good success.
Fancy cane with hollowed out compartment for liquor.
My character, let's see, he'd have a handkerchief, a notebook, passport. He had a camera in the last session, so I'm keeping that.
Why is there a section here called Dance Steps / Jazz Cylinders?
Good question.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
See, and that's why in every published Call of Cthulhu adventure, whenever the adventure says, alright, you ready to go on the steamer line trip to the Antarctic? No, we're going to check the supplies for the 900th time. No, we're going to investigate everything first.
Yes.